Frustrated by generic travel videos that make Spain look like just beaches and cities? I was too, until I discovered Spain's incredible contrasts. The travel guides never mention that you can experience volcanic moonscapes and lush green mountains in the same country, sometimes in the same day. In this documentary, I'll solve your biggest Spain travel planning problem: how to experience the country's remarkable diversity without missing the hidden gems. I'll take you on a journey through the most breathtaking places in Spain. Places that will leave you speechless. But before we dive into these wonders, let's start with some fun facts about Spain that might surprise you. Welcome to Wonders of Spain. Spain welcomes over 83 million visitors each year, making it the second most visited country in the world. Among its many treasures, Spain boasts over 1,500 castles, each standing as a testament to its medieval past. One of the most breathtaking is the Alhambra in Granada, a masterpiece of Islamic architecture and one of the most visited landmarks in Spain. Beyond its historic palaces, Spain is also home to the only desert in Europe, the Tabernas Desert, famous for being the backdrop of legendary Western films. Just as dramatic as its landscapes is flamenco, a passionate blend of singing, guitar playing, and dance that is so deeply rooted in Spanish culture that UNESCO recognizes it as an intangible cultural heritage. Spanish culture isn't just felt, it's tasted, especially in its olive oil, as Spain is the world's largest producer, responsible for over 40% of global production. The country also boasts an impressive selection of cheeses, with over 400 different types, including famous varieties like Manchego, Cabrales, and Mahon. After indulging in Spain's rich flavors, it's easy to embrace the local tradition of siesta, an afternoon rest that was once essential in the country's hottest regions. For those seeking architectural wonder, the Sagrada Família in Barcelona, designed by Antoni Gaudí, is one of the most visited monuments in the world, despite still being under construction since 1882. While some Spanish cities whisper their stories, Seville boldly proclaims its heritage through some of the most impressive structures in all of Europe. Walking through Seville feels like stepping onto a film set, and that's because it often is one. The Alcazar Royal Palace served as the setting for Dorne in Game of Thrones, its intricate mudéjar architecture showcasing the fascinating blend of Islamic and Christian artistic traditions. Built for Moorish kings and later expanded by Christian rulers, the palace gardens alone are worth losing yourself in for an afternoon. Towering above the city, the Giralda Bell Tower stands as a reminder of Seville's changing identity. Originally constructed as a minaret during Moorish rule, it was later incorporated into what would become one of the world's largest Gothic cathedrals. Inside this massive structure lies what many believe to be the tomb of Christopher Columbus, though, interestingly, there's ongoing debate about whether his remains are actually here or in the Dominican Republic. His body was moved multiple times after his death, leading to competing claims about his final resting place. Perhaps Seville's most photographed landmark is the Plaza de España, a stunning semicircular plaza built for the 1929 Ibero-American Exposition. With its mix of Renaissance and Moorish Revival styles, colorful ceramic tiles representing Spain's provinces, and picturesque canal crossed by elegant bridges, it creates an almost theatrical backdrop that has appeared in films like Star Wars Episode II. For something completely unexpected, visit Las Sedas, officially called Metropole Parasol, a massive undulating wooden structure resembling giant mushrooms that holds the title of largest wooden structure in the world. This ultra-modern creation, stands in striking contrast to the ancient city surrounding it. Beyond the city limits, nature enthusiasts shouldn't miss Doñana National Park, one of Europe's most significant wetlands and home to the critically endangered Iberian lynx. And just a short drive away, the ancient Roman city of Italica offers a remarkably preserved amphitheater where you can walk in the footsteps of emperors, or more recently, the actors who filmed the dragon pit scenes for Game of Thrones. Along Spain's Mediterranean coast lies a city where the buildings seem alive, twisting, curving, and shimmering in ways that make you question reality. Barcelona stands as the only place in the world where you can walk through the mind of a genius, with Antoni Gaudi's unfinished masterpieces scattered throughout the city like fragments of a beautiful, impossible dream. While most architects follow straight lines and right angles, Gaudí believed nature knows no such limitations. His unique vision transformed Barcelona's skyline with buildings that seem to defy gravity itself. Casa Batlló appears as if it's made from bones and scales, with an undulating facade that locals nickname the House of Yawns. Nearby, Casa Milà resembles a massive stone wave frozen in time, its rooftop a playground of sculptural chimneys that look like soldiers standing guard. But nothing captures Gaudí's boundless imagination like Park Güell. Originally planned as a luxury housing development, this failed business venture evolved into a public park where stone columns lean like ancient trees, mosaic-covered benches wind like colorful snakes, and the famous salamander statue El Drac greets visitors with its kaleidoscopic skin. From the main terrace, the entire city unfolds below, with the Mediterranean shimmering in the distance. Beyond Gaudí's wonders, Barcelona pulses with energy along Las Ramblas, the city's famous tree-lined pedestrian street. Here, human statues pose motionless until coins clink in their collection boxes, florists arrange vibrant bouquets, and the historic La Boqueria market tempts with hanging jamón and towers of fresh fruit. The nearby Gothic quarter reveals medieval Barcelona, where narrow lanes suddenly open to reveal hidden plazas and the 13th century Barcelona Cathedral. What makes Barcelona truly special is how it balances urban innovation with Mediterranean ease. After exploring Picasso's early works or the modernist marvels of Passeig de Gràcia, you can stroll to Barceloneta Beach, a stretch of golden sand where locals play volleyball, tourists sunbathe, and seafood restaurants serve up paella with ocean views. Just an hour outside the city, the serrated peaks of Montserrat rise dramatically from the landscape. This natural wonder houses a Benedictine monastery where pilgrims queue to touch the Black Madonna, Catalonia's beloved patron saint. Meanwhile, the coastal town of Sitges has transformed from a quiet fishing village into a creative haven, hosting SIG, one of Europe's most prestigious film festivals, against a backdrop of whitewashed buildings and palm-lined promenades. Lanzarote, a jewel in the Canarian crown, evolved along its own strikingly distinct path, sculpted by volcanic forces. For 6 straight years between 1730 and 1736, this island endured some of the most catastrophic volcanic eruptions in recorded European history, transforming what was once fertile farmland into a Martian-like landscape that defines the island to this day. When you step onto Lanzarote's terrain, you're walking on one of the oldest landmasses in the Canary archipelago. Though the dramatic eruptions of the 18th century shaped its current appearance, the island's foundation was formed by underwater volcanic activity around 15 million years ago. This geological history is most vividly on display at Timanfaya National Park, where vast lava fields stretch as far as the eye can see. But what makes Timanfaya truly extraordinary is what's happening beneath your feet. The ground is literally cooking. At certain demonstration sites, park rangers pour water into holes that instantly explode into steam geysers. They'll even cook your food using only the natural heat radiating from just a few meters below the surface, where temperatures reach an astounding 600 degrees Celsius. No electricity needed for this eco-friendly barbecue. You might think such an extreme environment would be hostile to agriculture, but Lanzarote's farmers have developed ingenious solutions. Visit Liguria wine region, and you'll discover one of the world's most unique vineyard landscapes. Each vine grows in an individual crater-like pit dug into volcanic ash, protected by semicircular stone walls. These pits trap precious moisture from the air, allowing grapes to flourish in what should be impossible growing conditions. The entire island has been designated a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, with conservation measures protecting nearly every corner. This environmental consciousness extends to the island's architecture too. Thanks to the vision of local artist César Manrique, strict building codes prohibit high-rises, ensuring all structures remain low and harmonize with the volcanic scenery. Along the coastline, the volcanic drama continues at Los Herederos, where ancient lava flows meet the Atlantic Ocean. Here, waves crash into underground caves, creating impressive water eruptions through blowholes in the volcanic rock. Nearby, the colorful salt flats of Salinas de Janubio provide another striking contrast, with white salt crystals forming geometric patterns against black volcanic soil. Leaving Lanzarote's volcanic landscapes behind, we venture to Madrid, where Spain's heart beats at its strongest. Madrid isn't just the geographical center of the Iberian Peninsula, it's where royal heritage and revolutionary art collide in unexpected ways. While many European capitals evolved gradually from medieval towns, Madrid was deliberately chosen to become Spain's political center in 1561 by King Philip II, who wanted a fresh start away from Toledo's entrenched power structures. The Royal Palace of Madrid stands as a testament to Bourbon ambition. With over 3,400 rooms, it dwarfs both Buckingham Palace and Versailles in size. Though no longer the royal residence, its halls still host state ceremonies beneath frescoed ceilings painted by Tiepolo. The nearby Teatro Real Opera House completes this vision of royal splendor, having recently reclaimed its status as one of Europe's premier classical venues after an extensive renovation. For a breath of fresh air, El Retiro Park provides Madrid's green lungs. Once a royal retreat, this UNESCO-listed urban oasis now belongs to the people, who row boats on its lake and admire the Crystal Palace, a magnificent glass pavilion that hosts contemporary art exhibitions. The park forms part of Madrid's landscape of light, recently recognized for its unique blend of nature and culture. Just an hour from the capital, Segovia seems frozen in time beneath its massive Roman aqueduct. 230 arches of perfectly fitted granite blocks that have delivered water for nearly 2,000 years without mortar. The city's fairy tale Alcazar reportedly inspired Walt Disney's Cinderella Castle, while local restaurants continue the tradition of slow-roasting suckling pig so tender it can be cut with the edge of a plate. Beyond Segovia, an unexpected natural spectacle awaits at Las Carcavas, where time and erosion have carved jagged red and orange clay formations into a landscape reminiscent of a miniature Grand Canyon. This hidden natural wonder offers a stark contrast to Madrid's refined urban landscape and remains largely unknown to international visitors. As we make our way toward Córdoba, we're not simply traveling south, we're stepping into what was once the most extraordinary city in Western Europe. While medieval London and Paris were muddy villages of perhaps 20,000 people, Córdoba in the 10th century was a metropolis of nearly 500,000 residents with paved streets, public baths, and libraries that preserved classical knowledge while Europe slumbered through its dark ages. The heart of Córdoba beats within its Mezquita Cathedral, arguably Spain's most unique architectural marvel. Picture this: a forest of 856 columns supporting over 365 red and white striped arches that seem to stretch infinitely. What makes this building truly remarkable is its layered history. Originally a Visigothic church, it was transformed into a grand mosque when the Moors conquered the city in 711. Then, after the Christian reconquest, instead of demolishing this Islamic masterpiece, they built a Renaissance cathedral right in its center, creating a building that embodies Spain's complex religious history. Córdoba's historical significance extends beyond this architectural wonder. The city boasts Spain's largest old town, a maze of narrow alleys and hidden squares. During May, residents transform these spaces during the Festival of the Patios, opening their courtyards to reveal stunning flower displays that cascade from walls and balconies. This tradition dates back centuries when residents would cool their homes with fountains and plants. At the Alcázar de los Reyes Cristianos, you'll find gorgeous, Moorish-inspired gardens with reflecting pools and fountains. This royal fortress holds special historical significance as the place where Christopher Columbus met with Queen Isabella in 1486 to discuss his ambitious voyage plans. The Roman bridge spanning the Guadalquivir River offers one of the city's most iconic views. Built in the 1st century BC and reconstructed many times since, this 16-arch bridge recently gained new fame as the Long Bridge of Volantis in Game of Thrones. If you're planning a visit, be aware that Córdoba holds the unwelcome title of Europe's hottest city. Summer temperatures frequently soar above 45 degrees Celsius, turning the city into a veritable oven. Locals have adapted with narrow streets that provide precious shade and interior courtyards designed to capture any hint of breeze. Just an hour from Córdoba lies the village of Isnajar, perched dramatically above an emerald reservoir. The whitewashed houses cling to the hillside beneath a 1,200-year-old castle, while below, the turquoise waters of Spain's largest reservoir stretch for nearly 20 miles. It feels worlds away from the grandeur of Córdoba, but both places share that uniquely Spanish quality, where different cultures and landscapes come together to create something that couldn't exist anywhere else. Our adventure now leads us deeper into Spain, revealing a place where nature has carved one of the country's most amazing masterpieces. Imagine standing in a lush valley surrounded by towering limestone cliffs that were once the bottom of an ancient sea. This is Ordesa y Monte Perdido, Spain's first national park, and a place so magnificent that it earned UNESCO World Heritage status back in 1997. At the heart of this natural paradise stands Monte Perdido, soaring to 3,300 meters and holding the distinction of being the Pyrenees' third highest peak. Early explorers struggled so much to find a route to its summit that they simply named it Lost Mountain. Even today, when you stand beneath its imposing presence, you can appreciate the challenge those first adventurers faced. What makes this park truly special is the incredible Ordesa Valley. Picture a Spanish version of the Grand Canyon, but with rushing waterfalls and meadows filled with wildflowers in spring. The name Ordesa actually comes from ancient Aragonese, translating roughly to Sacred Valley. Local folklore tells us this wasn't just a name, The earliest inhabitants genuinely believed these dramatic gorges and cliffs housed supernatural beings and spirits. The park transforms completely with the seasons. Winter brings snow-capped peaks and frozen waterfalls, while autumn paints the forests in brilliant reds and golds. Spring and summer reveal lush meadows carpeted with alpine flowers. This ever-changing landscape supports an incredible variety of wildlife. Look up and you might spot the magnificent bearded vulture, with its impressive 2.8-meter wingspan, soaring between the cliffs. On the rocky slopes, Iberian ibex perform gravity-defying feats of climbing, while marmots scurry between rocks and golden eagles patrol the skies. The gateway to this natural wonderland is the charming stone village of Torla Ordesa. Here, traditional mountain restaurants serve hearty Aragonese cuisine, just what you need after a day of hiking. A bit further away, the medieval village of Ensa offers a perfect complement to your nature experience, with its perfectly preserved cobblestone Plaza Mayor and ancient fortress walls framing spectacular views of the Pyrenees. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, shimmering lagoon that seems to stretch endlessly before you. This is Mar Menor, or Little Sea as locals call it, the largest saltwater lagoon in Europe. What makes this place truly special is the thin strip of land called La Manga that separates it from the Mediterranean Sea, creating a natural paradise unlike any other in Spain. The waters here hold a fascinating secret. They're significantly saltier than the Mediterranean. This high salt content creates an unusual swimming experience where you float with remarkable ease, similar to what you might experience in more famous spots like the Dead Sea. But don't worry, it's still perfectly comfortable for a refreshing dip. As you explore this unique ecosystem, you'll notice how the shallow, warm waters create perfect conditions for all sorts of water activities. Whether you're a passionate sailor, eager to try kite surfing, or simply want to swim in waters that stay pleasantly warm much longer than the Mediterranean, Mar Menor welcomes you year-round. Nature lovers will be thrilled by the incredible diversity of wildlife here. If you're lucky, you might spot flamingos wading gracefully through the shallows. Below the surface, Mar Menor harbors one of Europe's largest populations of seahorses, though these delicate creatures now face environmental challenges that have prompted important conservation initiatives. Just a short drive away lies Calblanc Regional Park, a hidden gem that offers a striking contrast to the developed beaches along Spain's coast. Here, you'll discover pristine stretches of golden sand, dramatic dunes, and rugged cliffs, all with significantly fewer tourists than you might expect for such breathtaking scenery. History buffs shouldn't miss nearby Cartagena, a port city with a rich past stretching back thousands of years. The beautifully preserved Roman theater here stands as testament to the city's importance during ancient times. For something truly spectacular, make the journey to Bateria de Castellitos, a dramatic fortress perched on coastal cliffs. Originally built for military defense, it now serves a much more peaceful purpose, providing visitors with some of the most stunning panoramic views of the Spanish coastline you're likely to find anywhere. Imagine a palace so beautiful that conquering Christians couldn't bring themselves to destroy it. A city where tapas come free with every drink. And the only place in Spain where you can ski in the morning and swim in the Mediterranean that same afternoon. Granada was the last stronghold of Islamic Spain, holding out until 1492, when the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella finally conquered it. The jewel in Granada's crown is the Alhambra, a palace fortress whose name means the Red One in Arabic. Its delicate archways, peaceful courtyards, and intricate decorations represent Islamic art at its finest. What many visitors don't know is that this architectural masterpiece nearly vanished from history. After the Reconquest, the palace was largely forgotten and fell into disrepair for centuries until 19th century Romantic travelers and writers rediscovered its fading beauty. It was in the Alhambra's Hall of Ambassadors, where Queen Isabella agreed to fund Christopher Columbus's voyage that would change world history. Standing in that same room today, you can almost picture the moment when the course of two continents was forever altered. Climb up to the Albaicín, Granada's old Moorish quarter, and you'll find yourself lost in a beautiful maze of narrow, winding streets. The best views of the Alhambra come from the Mirador de San Nicolas, where you can watch the palace walls turn golden at sunset. Granada is a city of contrasts. Despite being home to Spain's fourth oldest university, founded in 1531, it maintains a youthful energy thanks to thousands of students. And only here can you experience the perfect Spanish day. Morning skiing in the Sierra Nevada mountains, just 30 minutes from the city center, followed by an afternoon at a Mediterranean beach. One unique Granada tradition you'll love is the free tapas culture. Order a drink in almost any bar, and you'll receive a complimentary plate of food, from simple olives to elaborate dishes. Each round brings a different tapa, turning a casual evening into an unexpected feast. Just outside Granada, don't miss Guadix, where over 2,000 people still live in cave homes carved directly into the earth. These troglodyte dwellings stay naturally cool in summer and warm in winter. Maybe they knew something about sustainable living that we're just rediscovering today. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a massive chasm, with an entire town balanced precariously on both sides of the void. This is Ronda, where nature has dramatically split the landscape in two, and humans have stubbornly built one of Spain's most spectacular settlements despite the challenging terrain. The heart of Ronda's identity is El Tajo, a jaw-dropping gorge that plunges 120 meters to the Guadalquivir River below. This natural wonder effectively divides the city into two distinct parts: the old Moorish quarter, La Ciudad, and the newer commercial district, El Mercadillo. Connecting these halves is the magnificent Puente Nuevo, or New Bridge, which, despite its name, has been spanning the gorge since 1793. The bridge took a staggering 42 years to build and stands as a testament to human ingenuity. Look closely at its center, and you'll notice a small chamber that once served as a prison, and allegedly a torture chamber during Spain's Civil War. Ronda's dramatic setting has long attracted creative souls seeking inspiration. Ernest Hemingway and Orson Welles both fell under the city's spell, with Hemingway featuring the town in his Spanish Civil War novel, For Whom the Bell Tolls. The famous scene depicting fascists being thrown from a cliff was inspired by actual events in Ronda. The city also claims a significant place in bullfighting history, as home to Spain's oldest and most beautiful bull ring. The Plaza de Toros de Ronda, built in 1785, is where the legendary Pedro Romero developed the modern style of bullfighting on foot rather than horseback. The arena's museum displays colorful matador costumes and tells the controversial story of this Spanish tradition. Just a short drive from Ronda lies the remarkable village of Setenil de las Bodegas, where homes and businesses are literally carved into overhanging rock formations. Nearby, the once ordinary village of Juscar transformed itself into the Smurf Village by painting every building bright blue for a movie promotion, and decided to keep this distinctive look when it proved popular with tourists. Beyond its bridges and buildings, Ronda has a wilder history. The rugged, inaccessible mountains surrounding the town made it a perfect hideout for bandoleros, bandits, during the 19th century. These outlaws controlled mountain passes, ambushed wealthy travelers, and became folk heroes to many poor Andalusians. While Ronda clings dramatically to its cliffs, Valencia stands as a testament to human resilience and innovation. After a catastrophic flood in 1957 that claimed 81 lives and devastated the city, Valencians made an extraordinary decision. They moved an entire river. The Turia River, which once flowed through the heart of the city, was diverted south, and its former riverbed transformed into what is now one of Spain's most spectacular urban parks. This 9-kilometer green serpent known as Turia Gardens winds through Valencia, offering locals and visitors alike a place to jog, cycle, picnic, and play. It's hard to imagine that this lush pathway filled with palm trees, orange groves, and sports facilities was once a rushing waterway that nearly destroyed the city itself. At one end of this repurposed riverbed stands the City of Arts and Sciences, a collection of futuristic buildings that look like they've been transported from the next century. Designed by local architect Santiago Calatrava, this complex includes Europe's largest aquarium, an interactive science museum, an IMAX cinema, and an opera house resembling a giant helmet. The stark white structures rise dramatically against Valencia's blue skies, creating a striking contrast with the historic center just a short walk away. In the Ciutat Vella, or the Old Town, Valencia's medieval past comes alive. The imposing Valencia Cathedral merges Romanesque, Gothic, and Baroque styles, and houses what many believe to be the actual Holy Grail, the cup used by Jesus at the Last Supper. Whether you're a believer or skeptic, seeing this simple agate chalice, which has been scientifically dated to the appropriate period, is a powerful experience. Just 10 kilometers south of the city lies Albufera Natural Park, a freshwater lagoon surrounded by rice fields. It's here that paella was born, created by farmers who combined rice with whatever ingredients were available, typically rabbit, chicken, and local vegetables. Today, authentic Valencian paella remains distinct from the seafood varieties popular elsewhere in Spain. For history enthusiasts, a day trip to Zativa offers a glimpse into one of Spain's most notorious families. This medieval town, crowned by a magnificent hilltop castle, was the birthplace of the infamous Borgia family, who produced 2 popes and left their mark on European history through political machinations that would make modern power players blush. In 1706, on the northern coast of Tenerife, residents of Garachico watched in horror as molten lava from Montaña Negra volcano flowed toward their prosperous port. For 9 agonizing days, the glowing river of rock inched closer, eventually engulfing much of their town. Yet in one of history's most fortunate disasters, not a single life was lost. Before this catastrophe, Garachico was the commercial heartbeat of Tenerife. Ships from across Europe and the Americas filled its natural harbor, trading wines, sugar, and exotic goods. Wealthy merchants built elegant mansions along streets paved with wealth from international trade. The town's prosperity seemed assured, until that fateful eruption changed everything. What makes Garachico truly special today is what followed the disaster. As the lava cooled, it created something unexpected: natural pools along the coastline that now form El Caleton, a series of swimming spots where ocean water refreshes with each tide. Meanwhile, the harbor, once Tenerife's busiest, was rendered unusable, diverting shipping to other ports like Santa Cruz. This economic decline had a surprising silver lining. While other coastal towns transformed into tourist centers with high-rise hotels and crowded beaches, Garachico remained frozen in time. Today, visitors discover immaculately preserved colonial architecture around Plaza de la Libertad, including the 16th century Castillo de San Miguel and the Church of Santa Ana with its Genoese marble altar. The town's cobblestone streets lead to hidden plazas where locals still gather at traditional cafes. In the evenings, the sound of Canarian folk music often drifts from quaint taverns where fishermen share stories over glasses of local wine. This authentic atmosphere has earned Garachico recognition as one of Spain's most beautiful towns. Just a short drive from Garachico lies Teno Rural Park, where ancient volcanic activity created dramatic landscapes of deep ravines and soaring cliffs that plunge directly into the Atlantic. Within this rugged terrain sits tiny Masca village, perched precariously on narrow ridges between towering peaks. This remote settlement remained virtually unknown to outsiders until a road was built in the 1970s, earning it the nickname Tenerife's Machu Picchu for its seemingly impossible mountain setting. Perched dramatically on a hill and almost entirely encircled by the Tagus River, Toledo stands as a living monument to an extraordinary historical experiment. This is the place where Christians, Muslims, and Jews once created a civilization together that would change Europe forever. Walking through Toledo's narrow medieval streets feels like stepping into a beautifully preserved time capsule. Unlike many European cities that chose one architectural style, Toledo embraced them all. You'll find yourself turning a corner from an ancient synagogue to face a mosque-turned church, with Gothic spires rising in the distance. The massive Alcázar fortress dominates the city skyline, standing guard as it has through countless conflicts. This imposing structure has been rebuilt multiple times throughout its tumultuous history, most recently after the Spanish Civil War, when it endured a devastating 70-day siege in 1936. Toledo wasn't just any provincial town, it was once the imperial capital of Spain. Kings ruled from here until Philip II moved the court to Madrid in 1561. But perhaps Toledo's most enduring legacy comes from its reputation for craftsmanship. The phrase Toledo steel has been synonymous with quality for over 2,000 years. Roman legions sought these blades for their exceptional strength and flexibility, a reputation that continues today with ceremonial swords still crafted using traditional methods. Art lovers know Toledo through the eyes of El Greco, the Greek-born painter who made the city his home. His masterpiece, The Burial of the Count of Orgaz, still hangs in the Santo Tomé Church, depicting heaven and earth in his signature elongated, otherworldly style. The Cathedral of Toledo stands as Spain's Gothic masterpiece, taking nearly 250 years to complete. Inside, its sacristy houses an astonishing collection of paintings by El Greco, Goya, Velázquez, and others, essentially a world-class art museum within a cathedral. Just beyond the city, the landscape transforms dramatically. At Consuegra, Don Quixote's famous windmills still stand sentinel on the horizon. Meanwhile, the surprising Burujon Canyon offers Spain's answer to the Grand Canyon, a hidden gem of dramatic reddish cliffs and ravines carved by the same Tagus River that embraces Toledo. Did you know that Spain's highest peak isn't on the mainland? Mount Teide rises dramatically from the heart of Tenerife, reaching an impressive 3,700 meters into the sky. But this isn't just any mountain. It's a massive volcano still classified as active, though it's been peacefully slumbering since its last eruption in 1909. When you visit Teide National Park, you might feel like you've stepped onto another planet. The landscape is so otherworldly that NASA actually sent astronauts here to train for moon missions. As you explore, you'll notice the ground beneath your feet, hardened lava flows that have created a terrain so reminiscent of lunar surfaces that Hollywood couldn't resist. Films like Clash of the Titans chose these alien-looking backdrops to stand in for mythical and extraterrestrial worlds. One of the park's most fascinating features is Los Roques de Garcia, a collection of rock formations sculpted by volcanic activity and erosion into shapes that seem to defy gravity. The most famous, Roque Tinchado, resembles a giant stone tree and has become an iconic symbol of Tenerife, even appearing on old Spanish banknotes. The park's unique position offers some truly special experiences. As night falls, the clear mountain air and distance from light pollution transform Teide into one of Europe's premier stargazing destinations. The Teide Observatory, established here because of these exceptional conditions, hosts some of the world's most advanced telescopes. For the Guanches, Tenerife's original inhabitants before Spanish colonization, Mount Teide was sacred and feared. They called it Echede and believed it housed Guayota, a malevolent deity similar to the devil. According to their mythology, Guayota kidnapped the sun god Majek and imprisoned him inside the mountain, plunging the world into darkness until the supreme god Akaman rescued him. Today, most visitors ascend most of the way by cable car, which whisks you up to 3,500 meters in just 8 minutes. However, reaching the very summit requires planning ahead. Only 200 people per day receive permits to protect this fragile environment. While volcanic peaks leave visitors in awe, the northern coast of Spain offers a completely different kind of visual spectacle. Imagine a human-made rainbow tumbling down to the sea. That's Cudillero for you. This tiny fishing village in Asturias looks like an artist's palette, spilled across a steep hillside, with houses in blues, pinks, greens, and oranges, creating a living watercolor that's become one of Spain's most photographed coastal scenes. What makes Cudillero truly special isn't just its good looks, but its unusual theater-like layout. The village is built in a natural amphitheater formed by steep hills surrounding a tiny harbor, with houses stacked in tiers as if watching the fishing boats come and go. Narrow staircases and passageways twist between buildings, sometimes passing directly under upper floors, a layout that maximizes the limited space between mountain and sea. The splash of color wasn't always part of Cudillero's charm. Originally, these homes were plain and unadorned, but local fishermen began a tradition of painting their houses in vibrant colors for a purely practical reason: to serve as navigation landmarks. When returning from sea in foggy conditions, the bright colors helped them identify their home port and specific neighborhoods long before modern navigation tools existed. Hidden within these colorful streets is something you won't hear anywhere else in the world: Pixueto, a unique dialect spoken only by Cudillero locals. This linguistic curiosity combines elements of Asturian, Galician, and seafaring vocabulary, creating a secret language that has survived for generations despite being spoken by fewer than 5,000 people. For the best views of this coastal gem, visitors climb to the Faro de Cudillero, a lighthouse perched atop coastal cliffs. From here, the panorama stretches across the entire Bay of Biscay, with the village's colored homes clustered below like a handful of confetti thrown against the hillside. Just minutes from Cudillero lie some of Asturias's most spectacular hidden beaches, accessed by paths that wind through lush green cliffs. And for wildlife enthusiasts, nearby Somiedo Natural Park offers encounters with Spain's recovering brown bear population in mountain landscapes that feel worlds away from Cudillero's seaside charm. Nestled on Spain's Costa Brava, Cadaqués remains remarkably isolated despite its growing popularity. Until well into the 20th century, the only way to reach this fishing village was via a treacherous mountain road so winding and narrow that locals considered themselves more connected to the sea than to mainland Spain. This isolation created a unique microcosm where artists could escape conventional thinking. Salvador Dalí first visited Cadaqués as a child and later established his home in neighboring Port Legat, claiming that "The light of Cadaqués is the most intense I've ever known," making everything more clear and precise. The heart of Cadaqués reveals a maze of narrow lanes where whitewashed buildings with blue trim climb gently uphill toward the Church of Santa Maria. This 16th century church sits at the highest point of the old town, its brilliant white facade visible from nearly everywhere in the village. Climb the steps to its entrance for a panoramic view that captures the entire bay, with fishing boats bobbing in crystalline waters. Unlike Spain's crowded resort towns, Cadaqués offers a different kind of coastal experience. Its small, pebbly coves require a bit more effort to reach, but reward visitors with extraordinary clarity. On calm days, you can see straight to the seafloor, even in deeper waters. Locals say the tramontana wind that frequently blows through the area purifies everything it touches, explaining both the pristine waters and the town's reputation for inspiring creative clarity. Just a short drive from Cadaqués, the Sant Pere de Rhodes Monastery stands as a testament to medieval engineering, perched dramatically on a mountainside with commanding views of the entire peninsula. Dating back to the 10th century, this Benedictine monastery seems to float between sea and sky, offering visitors a perfect counterpoint to Cadaqués' artistic energy with its spiritual tranquility. Just when you thought medieval Spain couldn't get more enchanting, there exists a place that seems frozen entirely in time, a town where every street tells a story from centuries past. Nestled in the mountains of Teruel province lies Albarracín, often described as Spain's most beautiful village, and for good reason. What makes Albarracín truly special is its distinctive pink glow. The entire town is constructed from local red sandstone, giving the buildings their remarkable rosy hue that changes throughout the day, most spectacular during sunset, when the walls seem to blush with centuries of history. This unique coloration creates perfect harmony between the town and the surrounding iron-rich landscape. Walking through Albarracín feels like stepping into a medieval storybook. The labyrinthine streets wind unpredictably up and down the hillside, a deliberate design choice made by its ancient inhabitants. These confusing pathways served a critical purpose: to disorient and slow down potential invaders, giving defenders the upper hand. Today, they create a magical atmosphere where every turn reveals a new picturesque corner. The town's impressive fortifications tell the story of its remarkable past. In the 12th century, Albarracín wasn't just another settlement. It was an independent Taifa kingdom ruled by the Banu Razan dynasty, who gave the town its name. Their legacy lives on in the Islamic architectural influences that blend seamlessly with later Christian additions, creating a unique cultural fusion. For history lovers, the 16th century cathedral and bishop's palace stand as testaments to Albarracín's religious significance. What's truly remarkable is how perfectly preserved everything remains. Not a single modern building interrupts the medieval atmosphere, earning the town its prestigious place among Spain's pueblos más bonitos, or most beautiful villages. The more superstitious visitors might be interested in the town's spookier reputation. Local legends whisper that Albarracín is one of the most haunted places in Spain. After dark, some residents refuse to walk near the old fortress walls, claiming to hear mysterious sounds and witness unexplainable phenomena echoing from centuries past. In the misty northwestern corner of Spain lies Santiago de Compostela, a city where faith literally shaped the landscape. Unlike beach destinations that attract sunbathers, this Galician capital has been drawing pilgrims for nearly 1,000 years. Why would someone walk hundreds of kilometers, often with painful blisters and in challenging weather? The answer lies in what rests inside the city's magnificent cathedral, the remains of St. James, one of Jesus' 12 apostles. The story of how these sacred remains ended up in this remote part of Spain is fascinating. In the 9th century, a hermit named Pelayo supposedly followed a star to discover the apostles' tomb. What was then a nearly abandoned settlement suddenly transformed into one of Christianity's most important destinations, rivaling even Rome and Jerusalem. The city's name itself tells the story: Santiago, St. James of Compostela, Field of Stars. Today, hundreds of thousands of modern pilgrims follow ancient routes known collectively as the Camino de Santiago. Some start their journey in France, Portugal, or various parts of Spain, covering distances that can exceed 800 kilometers. The most popular route, the French Way, takes about a month to complete on foot. But it's not just Catholics who make this journey. People of all faiths and backgrounds walk the Camino, often seeking personal transformation rather than religious absolution. The city itself feels like it belongs in another century. Its UNESCO-protected historic center features winding medieval streets where the constant patter of rain on cobblestones creates an almost mystical atmosphere. Grand plazas suddenly appear around corners, and the imposing cathedral dominates the skyline. When pilgrims finally reach the Praça do Obradoiro after weeks of walking, many collapse in emotional exhaustion and relief. Those who complete at least 100 kilometers on foot, or 200 kilometers by bicycle, receive a special certificate called the Compostela, written in Latin and dating back to medieval times. For many, the journey doesn't end in Santiago, but continues to Finisterre, a dramatic coastal headland once believed to be the westernmost point of Europe, literally, the end of the world. Here, following tradition, pilgrims burn an item of clothing worn on their journey, symbolizing renewal and transformation. Perched in the hills just north of Malaga, Frigiliana dazzles visitors with its pristine white facades that stand in stark contrast to the vibrant splashes of color from countless flower pots adorning doorways and balconies. This isn't just any white village. It's often voted the most beautiful in all of Andalusia, and for good reason. As you wander through the old quarter known as Barri Barto, you'll notice something unusual about the layout. The streets don't follow the typical grid pattern you might expect. Instead, they twist and turn unexpectedly, sometimes leading to hidden plazas or sudden breathtaking viewpoints. This isn't an accident. It's a direct inheritance from Frigiliana's Moorish past, when Arab architects designed these streets to follow the natural contours of the hillside. Did you know that many locals believe there's still Moorish gold hidden beneath their feet? Legend has it that when the Moors were forced to flee during the Christian Reconquista in the late 15th century, they hid their treasures in underground cave systems, planning to return one day. That day never came, and some residents still whisper about undiscovered riches that might lie in forgotten caverns under the village. What makes Frigiliana truly special is how its residents have preserved their traditional way of life. Most streets are so narrow and steep that cars simply can't navigate them. Instead, locals still use donkeys to transport goods up and down the challenging terrain. You'll often spot these hard-working animals carrying everything from construction materials to groceries through the village's winding pathways. The commitment to maintaining Frigiliana's beauty goes beyond just white paint. Residents competitively decorate their homes with colorful flower displays year-round, creating a living garden that changes with the seasons. A short drive from Frigiliana lies Torrox, another white village that proudly claims to have the best climate in Europe, with 320 sunny days per year. Unlike many whitewashed towns, Torrox offers a fascinating blend of its Moorish heritage with ancient Roman roots, evident in the Roman ruins discovered beneath the main square. For those seeking dramatic vistas, Comares sits even higher in the mountains than Frigiliana. Known as the Balcony of Axarquia, this fortress town perches at a dizzying 739 meters above sea level, offering panoramic views across the entire region all the way to the Mediterranean. Want more hidden gems and unforgettable destinations? Subscribe for more travel inspiration and uncover the world's most fascinating places.